So let's just dive into it.
Yeah. So who we have today? So another one of our favorite couples.
Yes. Nika Bonds. And I'm here with my darling husband.
Okay. I'll pay you later.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Bonds.
Okay.
Friends
And so
of-
how long have y'all guys been married?
18
years.
18 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
18 in August.
Okay.
18 years. So
He said that with confidence too. 18
18 in
August.
August. Nah, I heard every bit of that. Trust me. 18 in August. But
we've known one another
Well, yeah.
for 27.
20, yeah. We met in 98.
Yeah.
Met in 98 in college, High Dominican. I don't know if I know Coast, your brother first.
Yeah, I think but we didn't know. He met my older brother first.
Yes.
And they
we
worked together.
Parks and Rec together. And then just by chance, she and I had met. It wasn't by chance. I seen her walking, going into the library, and I was going into the
Wow.
yeah. Bro, that my body, God was like, I seen. I'm like, man, who was that? So I went into the gym real quick. I was going to the gym anyways. I went to the gym real quick. I had like a white wife beater on. Got a quick little swole on.
Yeah.
And then went into the library and I was looking for her. You know, I was top floor, whatever. She was down at the bottom floor, like doing her, studying or whatever.
I'm actually typing a paper like,
Who?
Why are you over here?
I knew I wanted
staring and right. I'm like on the research, like several resources. That's back when you had to pull the books. And I'm sitting there like, what?
It's hunting. As men, we hunt.
But I like what you said. What
again.
you just said. You said when she was talking, when she was typing, you said, "I know what I wanted."
I knew what I wanted. Right
For
there,
all the young men, because these new generation,
yes,
men know what they want, and you have to go get it and chase it.
No playing no games. I wasn't. You know what I mean? I was serious about it. I wasn't serious about school at the time, but I was serious about her. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know what to be serious about when I first started to go to school. So that's how kind of our journey kind of unfolded. Like she stayed and completed, and I made the mistake that most freshmen make and moved off campus, and it was just, you know what I mean? But over the years, it seemed like every 2 years.
It was.
Every 2 years we would run into each other. Every 2 years, run into each other. And it wouldn't be anything extra, no, nothing intimate or anything like that. We'd just probably go out to lunch or dinner, whatever it may be, catch up, how your family doing? And she asked me how my family doing. And we just enjoy each other, and then we just go kind of our separate ways.
It was like clockwork every other year.
Yeah.
It was really
Y'all
weird.
just pop into each other.
Yep.
Just run into each other.
We would run into each other, or he would call out the blue, and he was like, "Let's go out for drinks." And I go, "Oh man!" He's like, "Come on, girl, let's go out for drinks."
Yeah.
And then we would go, and it was always a good time, always conversation, just
no dead
easy,
air. Right?
Seamless.
Cool.
We would spend hours just talking and catching up, and I mean, we were always very real with one another.
Right.
Probably almost brutally.
So how long did it take to say I do?
Oh, 9 years?
It took y'all 9 years from the first encounter of meeting each other?
9 years.
Well, granted, like I said, we weren't dating or nothing like that.
We weren't dating.
From the time we initially met each other up until, and like I said, when we ran back, and it was kind of the same scenario, just ran back into each other. And I was actually kind of quasi in a relationship with somebody I was digging at the time, but she and I ran into each other again. And I had to, I don't know if she knew that, but yeah. She knows now.
I know. That's what I said.
She knows now.
Yeah, she gonna be like, what?
Right. But
I didn't care there. I probably don't care.
Right. She probably asked somebody too.
She gonna ask you in the car though when we
she will. That's gonna be an argument in the car. Right.
No, we don't do her like that. Don't do her like that.
But no, I once again, I knew what I wanted. You know what I mean? And it just seemed like the time was kind of right. I was 30, so I just turned 30, somewhere right there. And for a man, when you turn, I mean, you reach 30, it's game on. Like you can't play anymore. Like you just
time to settle down.
Yeah, it's time to settle down and get serious. And it just kind of manifested. It wasn't even us. Us getting engaged wasn't planned. It was just us. We were going to
nothing was
movies.
planned.
It wasn't planned. We're going to the movies to see Deja Vu. Denzel Washington's Deja Vu.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know that. Remember that movie?
Mm-hmm.
She fell asleep on it. She still don't know the ending
I
of this
don't know.
movie to this day. But we ended up stopping over her sister's house, who had been at the time had been married
Oh, probably like 20 years.
20-some years,
Mm.
somewhere around there. And just a topic of conversation, it just kind of like, so what's going on? Where y'all going with this? And I was just like, I don't know. So we went there before the movies, and we left the house pretty much like planning a wedding, pretty much engaged.
Oh wow.
That's how he felt.
Yeah.
So the audience want to know, what did you believe about marriage before getting married, and what changed?
Oh, that's a good one. So for me, I was raised in a nuclear family with, both of my parents.
Still together.
Still, and they're still married
50-some
today.
years. 50?
50 plus.
50
Maybe
plus
they're
years.
like,
That's dope.
yeah,
50 plus years.
would they be 55? I think they've been married. But so for me, I just saw it was my normal. So the one thing that I can say that I took from my parents is that they were a team. And my mom and dad, they are like an awesome team with one another. And both of them just went hard for family, for us as their kids, but for extended family. Every one of my grandparents lived with us at some point in time. My mom took care of her dad. I never heard my dad like, oh no, they can't come here to stay if they're no. It was like, oh no, let's go. We got it. We are, what it is. Our siblings, both of my parents are the eldest sibling of their siblings too. So they took on a lot. And they did it, and I'm sure it wasn't easy for them being older now and to listen to them talk about it. But it's funny because on the way in here, I was telling my dad we were coming to the podcast and what the topic was. And he was like, he said, it's commitment.
Mm.
And he said, you have to be committed, period. But he was like, I'm committed to this day. And he said, I'm still right now trying to figure out how to take care of your mama and to make sure she's fine when I'm not here.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and the level of commitment that it takes to give to the marriage and to one another, to this other person, makes you a better person. So I think that I saw that is something that I do still truly believe in, but I think the reality of it in practice, I would often say, I'll be like, listen, I'm not my mom and dad. Like, I don't know who does this thing.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know if my level of commitment is and I saw it done every day. And I'm still like,
Baby.
man, I don't think I got the gene. I don't have it in me. Like, I need to tap out.
Right.
I mean, so really, I think what changed is not my belief. It really is that you have to find your own way. It's not going to be easy just because you know what it looks like, what it should be like.
Mm-hmm.
In your own life, that practice is very real. It's very real. It's a lot of hard work. And most of the hard work comes from being committed to yourself first. I think people feel like their marriages fail
Not losing
because
yourself in that marriage.
because of the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You really do have to be committed to yourself, because if your spouse is telling you like, look, this isn't working, we need to look at other things, or I see these things, that can be shocking. You're like, well, I'm thinking I'm awesome over here. Like, listen, you got a whole gift over here. You're not recognizing.
You better tell them.
All right. But that can be jarring. And it's like, what do you do with that? Someone in your face, in your space, and they're saying, listen, I see your shortcomings. I see your slip hanging out. You need to tighten this up. And how do you receive that? And then once you receive it, what do you do about it? And some people feel like, well, this person's asking me to change and this. But going into a marriage, the one thing you can expect is going to ask you to change. And hopefully, though, if you chose the right person, that changes for the betterment of
Right.
you.
Mm-hmm.
It's for the betterment.
And one thing I always notice every couple that we interview and couples that we actually talk to on a regular basis, it's starting to be a theme. A lot of women say it's work. And most of the men, it ain't work. This ain't marriage, ain't work. This ain't no job. I noticed that, right?
It's work.
Do you, Emmanuel, think it's work? Or
I
do
will
you...
say, so I'm gonna answer James' initial question. As far as my expectations of what married for me, it was one and done. Like I took getting married serious. You know what I mean? Like it was just I hadn't. It's not something that I was trying to figure out, or I just wanted to dabble in and see if I like it.
Yeah.
That was not. I mean,
Yeah.
no, I was. You know what I'm saying? So the person I felt that I was gonna spend my rest of my life with, I was going to spend the rest of my life with that person. That was my ideal of marriage. You know what I mean? And the trick is how do you give of yourself without losing yourself? You know what I mean? I struggle with still trying to keep my identity as a single man when I first got married. You know what I mean? And not that I was running the streets and doing all that, but I felt like, okay, this is mine. It's like, don't touch this. This is my, you know what I mean? In the household, people are going to touch your stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially the kids.
Especially the kids.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
you can put it right there, and then an hour later it's moved somewhere. And now I struggle with that. Like, listen,
Are you the only child?
no, I'm not. No, I'm not the only child. No, I'm not the only child. But so for me, Mary, I took it extremely serious. It's funny because every picture prior to us getting married that she would take of me, she would say, I would always have my head down, like I was stressed out. And I was leading up to us getting married. I was, because that's how I was taking on. It was a blended family. You know, she had already had a son. I had, you know, my daughters or whatever. So we were trying even that aspect of it. Like, how do we even make that work? You know what I mean? So I was stressed. There was a lot of, you know what I mean?
And did the outside world try to impede an initial part? Like,
Ooh.
since y'all guys coming with a blended family,
Right.
you know,
Ooh.
Yes. To answer your question directly, yes. You know what I
Okay.
mean? People had their opinions.
Everybody
people-
had an opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody had an opinion. You know, some people, you know, didn't like it. It
Right.
wasn't, you know, comfortable with the whatever it may be. And we didn't have like that honeymoon phase that most couples have. That we were right in it right from the get go. So I think that added another element of just maybe stress into it. Like we were working, trying to figure this whole thing out. Like I said, you trying to pay bills. What does that look like? And who's fiscally responsible? And who's, you know what I mean? And so it's a lot that went into it, and it took some time for us to really figure one another out. Like my wife was saying, like Nika was saying, you know, like I'm awesome. Like the problem's definitely with you. It ain't with me. Whatever issue you got, it sound like a you problem because I'm perfect. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you know, to be candid, throughout our marriage, we did separate twice, and I mean separated. Like I had my own residence, she had her own.
Right.
Twice throughout our marriage, our 18-year marriage, and she had asked me my opinion about that. Would I encourage other couples to go down that path? And my answer to that is, I don't mean to get off.
No, just
That's
keep
all.
it flowing. Yeah.
I don't necessarily would say I would encourage another, because you never know what that could lead to. You know what I mean? When you separate, there's no guarantee that y'all gonna get back together. You know what I'm getting at?
It was a gamble.
Yeah, but it wasn't planned either.
It wasn't.
That was something like we was like,
Who ideal was it to separate? Who
It just
initiated
kinda-
the conversation?
Oh, was there a conversation?
No,
Oh, that
right.
first time.
No, it wasn't
no.
a
It
conversation.
was no conversation.
No.
Well, let's say this.
So when you
Or
said,
y'all just
It
both
was
just.
get out and I left.
But I'm saying.
That's what it was.
But no,
is that
I'm saying get
conversation?
out.
That's what it was.
But
It
I'm
was
saying
get out,
get
and
out.
I was like, all
but no,
right,
I'm
cool.
saying get out means.
Get out, I ain't like you anyways.
No,
you know,
I'm saying get out means
Like
just
my
get out
bad
real
sister.
quick. Get out real quick, and I'm gonna come right back.
And
you got out and you decided for you in your head, you decided, okay, she told me to get out, so I'm going to get a new
Yeah.
residence.
No, it didn't happen that fast.
No,
No,
not the
it
first
didn't.
time.
Yeah,
No,
no, it didn't happen that
No.
fast. I think that
you said get out. You like
yeah. I was like, all right, deuces.
no, I mean, but I do
Say-
feel like
say
that
less.
this
Mhm.
I feel like this is that this part is very important because I think that he did kind of set up kind of the way the pressure was going. And I think for those out there who are trying to traverse and take on the blended family aspect. And I think he and I felt we were ready. We didn't get married early. We were early 30s, but
Yeah.
like we
Right.
30s. Like I know who I am.
Yeah,
I've had
right.
career job. He's you think I know myself. So yeah, I'm ready. No.
She said it was
No,
so
this
hard.
the all of the pressures and things just started mounting. And looking back, when I think about where I was personally in the marriage, when I was just like, get out, like for real, like it was more. I was sinking.
Mm.
And I think that sometimes you have to recognize when your load is just heavy. And I do feel like I can understand why women a lot of times are like, yeah, it's work, because there were things on my plate that I felt like as a woman, as the wife, as a mother, I couldn't take things off the plate. And unfortunately, the thing that I could take off the plate.
Right.
I mean,
But-
seriously, I mean, in a way, it became like this. I'm sinking. I have a lot on my plate. I have children. At that point in time, we had 3 children. Our youngest was 5 months old. And it was, I was sinking under pressure.
And you new mom.
New mom. Now, later, I realized or discovered that I was suffering from postpartum. I had never suffered from postpartum before. These were all things that were new to both of us. And we look back at it, we actually laugh at it because it was like, what were we doing? We thought we was ready. We thought because
Because we knew each other. It wasn't like we just met.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was
And it was never
like for years we had known each other. We were friends. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Really close
we
friends.
thought we was about to kill this. We was like, we gonna kill marriage. What? Like, this is my friend.
Mhm.
And there was
Yeah.
And I think that something that people should think about too is between Emmanuel and I, and we just said we separated twice. It has never been for a lack of love.
Mm.
The one thing that I always knew for a fact is that this man loved me. And I knew that I loved him. And so for couples that are out there like, I'm struggling, I know I love this person, there has to be other things that come into account besides love
And awareness.
and a certain awareness.
There's a certain awareness for you as an individual, what is going on inside of you. But then your spouse need to be aware when something is different about you and
Yeah.
you're going through those seasons. Because sometimes I know personally for me, when I was going through my season where I did not like my husband, I loved him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was
loved him.
thinking like, because I grew up, I always tell everybody all the time, I grew up, we would leave in a heartbeat. We would get divorced in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Divorce ain't nothing for me, right?
Yeah.
You don't do me right, I'm out.
Oh, right.
Or if I feel like I need to be gone, I'm gone. I wasn't committed
Yeah.
to death
nonsense.
do his part,
Oh,
right?
Right.
I mean, but then I had to grow into that, right?
Right.
And understand the magnitude of me leaving can have ramifications for a
Legacy.
lot of
Oh, yeah.
Legacy.
a lot of things.
What'd you say?
However,
Legacy?
Your
Legacy-
legacy.
your
Yeah,
legacy.
Absolutely.
But
And that's what
however-
marriages have to
but
do.
however,
Go ahead.
in those moments when you are in the
Yeah.
season of darkness.
Yeah.
And he don't like me saying that, but it was a dark time
Yeah.
and you don't recognize it. And
Yes.
we're not in no alignment. We're no longer a team.
That's right.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
everything is feel like this chaos. I understand why people say I want to separate. I understand why people say I want to just leave this. What else? What pressures and what things can I take off my plate so I can be a better self for
Yes.
not just me, but people around me? Because if I'm
Yeah.
not liking myself and how I'm feeling,
Right.
I know other people around in my space is going to get it. But that comes with maturity,
Yes, it does.
awareness, and really owning up to what is really going on. Because we wasn't
Inside
taught.
you.
We was inside me, and we
Well,
wasn't taught that.
Right. That's
I
true.
would say accountability too. I think that's a
Right.
big thing that people really have to be able to hold themselves accountable. You know what I mean? And,
What's your part?
what's your part? Yeah, and that's one thing I did like about marriage was the accountability piece. I did like that the consistency with that. I did like that she would, and I knew she would be coming from a place of love when she did hold me accountable for whatever reason, whatever it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I enjoyed having somebody to come home to after a hard day's work. You know what I mean? And you know, we're at this stage almost 20 years in now where we're probably closer than ever. You know what I mean? As far as our marriage, like we shared commonalities. We could discuss. I wasn't even like a political person until I met her. You know what I mean? I voted, but you know, her family are like they're really her and her dad, and they could sit there for hours and talk about politics. A lot of times when we first got together, they get to talk and I just leave the room like, okay,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But now
Yeah.
I'm engaging. I'm expressing my point of view and then whatever it may be, and that's something she and we share together. It's outside. I mean, your children can. That's a bond, you know,
Right.
you're always going to have. However, that can't be the only reason why you stay with your spouse. It's just because then you end up, in my opinion, finding some form of resentment towards that person. If you're not really, if it's just the children that's holding you together.
Well, once they're grown,
Yeah, what do you have?
Right.
And that's what happens
And
with a
we
lot
do
of couples,
that.
right?
And that's happening.
Once
Well,
the
they
children
get
get
lost.
older.
Yeah, they get lost in that about their children, and
Yes.
they forget about themselves. They forget
Correct.
about the wife or the husband.
And they go through life as God. I remember one time I heard James' feelings a little bit when I was like, man, I feel like we are so like in this mode of go, go, go and so busy. We roommates
yeah,
with benefits.
yeah,
Roommates with benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling that emotional.
It can happen. It's easy, and you
And
don't
it's-
you don't
and
even
it's
recognize it
very
happens.
easy
Yes.
until one
It is
person
easy.
step up and say,
Yeah.
because he'd be like, "Oh no, we're good. No,
Yeah.
brother, you my roommate."
Yeah. No, but
when,
that's me.
when are you
That-
gonna take me on a date without me
Right.
asking for a date?
I'm telling you, James, that was me. I'd be like, Nika, what's wrong? Like, dude, I thought we was good. We just went out to
Yeah.
dinner. We just
And
kicked it. We went dancing.
But
Like,
then
why are
it's
you
like,
upset? Like,
but
what's
then
going
it's the
on?
littlest things like I get up, I iron the kids' clothes, I fix dinner, I cook, I clean. It's just the little things,
But
and it's not appreciated. It's
it
not
is appreciated, but
well,
it's more than that.
yes,
But-
it is.
It's more than that.
my daily actions.
Oh Lord.
I'm consistent.
Yeah.
That's why I don't take no days off. I don't get no vacations.
Now you still ain't heard what we just said, did you?
No,
See?
that's what I did.
But you guys said something your last, and I don't know which one it was. I think you said it. You said you have to be intentional.
Yeah,
And you have to be
Yes.
intentional
yeah,
in your actions. If you're not intentional, if you're not, there's no forethought in what you're doing. You have to be intentional. And part of my thing with my wife now is, I mean, you know, of course, I love to hear her laugh. You know what I mean? I love to see her smile. I love making her happy. You know what I mean? But I'm intentional about, like her dad. I'm about taking care of her. I want her to be. If I leave this earth, I want her and the kids to be good. Like
Yep.
you know what I mean? I as a man, right? As a man, that's my duty. That's my responsibility is to make sure she's taken care of and she's good. And you know, it's not easy. I mean, if your intentions are good, it guides your actions, right? And everything, in my opinion, will start to kind of fall into place. We've grown together, personally and professionally, since we've been together, right?
right.
When we first got together, I don't think you were a new teacher.
No, I
No,
wasn't
she
that
hadn't been a new teacher, but
But I had been teaching for a while, but you know, I still need to go back and get my master's.
Right.
I
Yeah.
still needed to
Right.
like there were just things that I still needed to do personally to really solidify my own course And I think that kind of speaks to, I'm online on social media and you see people talking about relationships, especially young people talking about relationships. And it always cracks me up that they're like, oh yeah, I need him to be together. I need her to be together.
Mm-mm.
We need to have
That's
this
that
thing
false-
together.
Yeah.
It's
And
false.
it's like, no, why? Why do you? And first of all, if you come into and this person has everything together, sometimes what happens is there's no room for you.
Yeah.
You know, I know, you have to make room in your life to bring someone else in. And so even if it seems like you have the house, you have the car, you already have the accounts, you have stocks and all of these things. As soon as you say, I'm gonna bring this life together with someone else, well, you have to start like carving out like where they're going to fit into it,
Mhm.
because you can accumulate a lot of things individually and on your own. But when you talk about putting a life together with someone else, it has to be part of them that comes in, and it should be. So you're still going to build and create together anyway, So my thing is, why young people feel like they're supposed to have all the things together
Before they get together.
before you get together. Is just kind of like, yeah, that takes a lot of the fun. Part of the fun, I think, is and looking back and having this sense of accomplishment and wonderment, like, ooh, baby, we did this together.
Because we started with nothing.
We
And
started from the
we
bottom.
really didn't have
We had
nothing.
nothing.
Like, bring your
for-
mattress. No, leave your mattress. Your mattress. I threw that in the dumpster.
Never.
It needed to be burned.
Burn that mattress.
Yeah, burn
But
that
that's-
mattress. But
yeah.
I'm saying we were
Had
literally.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
and that's the beauty of marriage. Like I said, we didn't have nothing. Got our first apartment, learned about bills, got married when we were 23 and 22.
I was 22, yeah.
Yeah, got married, but I enjoyed the challenge or the
Mm.
experience.
Right.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I look forward to it. Like she was on on Wick,
I showed.
and we had to go to the store, and I had to learn like we go in the store and she showed me the car and she'd be like, "This is all we got."
You can't get that cereal,
Yeah.
baby.
Right.
Yeah, and then I had to get Jabez was in daycare
Yeah.
and I ain't have no money, and he kept drinking milk, and Miss what was her name?
Carmen.
Miss Carmen be like, "Mr. James, you got to go get your son some milk." So I scramble change up. I'll
Yeah.
find some on the ground,
Right.
get it, and go to the store. But I wasn't. It didn't overwhelm me. It's like I had to do it.
Right.
My
Right.
son needed
Yeah.
milk.
Right.
Right. So I think sometimes we get into that despair, but it's just an experience. It's like lifting weights. It only gets you stronger.
Well, I'm
These
so glad there
challenges-
was no social media back then.
Oh, we'd have made a lot of money.
We sure
Well-
we did some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But think about, think about if you
Yeah. You think
people
about
who get on there and compare though,
Oh yeah.
because when you're at that, I call
Hello?
it the grinding time,
Yeah.
where you're like grinding and building.
Mhm.
Dude, imagine if they had social media back then.
Yeah.
On social media,
Yeah.
seeing people go on vacations, and they're like,
We
"Shoot, I'm
ain't
sitting there
going."
scraping change in
We
the
ain't
car,
going.
like,
We ain't going.
yeah, we're not.
But then
going.
that's the dangers of the social media. I mean,
That is- it
because
is
they're
the
always just showing couples going on trips. You at the
Yes.
restaurant, you dancing, you eating. I mean,
Right.
it's just they don't show the real,
Mhm.
the day to day.
Well, who
And
was
it's a
it that
grind.
said? Someone said that social media is like seeing people on social media is like watching their highlight reel.
Mm.
And
It
I was
is.
like, it is.
It is.
Because guess what? We've known people to have gone on vacations. I mean, beautiful. Listen, they getting divorced like
Yeah.
2 weeks after they get
Yeah.
back. You're like, well, did y'all
Yeah.
even pay off the vacation off the
No,
credit card?
probably not.
No.
But it makes you be like, okay, what happened in between that time where y'all didn't pay attention to each other's needs?
It was happening while they were on that vacation.
It was
Mhm.
because I know when one of our strongest times we were on the vacation, me and James reconnected and had the best. We always have fun on our vacation time. Now.
Yeah.
My baby, that's the only time
Well-
James don't talk about money. Only time he don't
Oh,
talk
my
about
goodness.
business. And I think
Yeah.
that's where we lost ourselves because James used to call me all the time during the day. He used to leave me. Jane still write me love letters.
I love
He'll send
that.
me text messages. I love you. But then now when I come home from work, and you know what I do every day, I'm always with people. Everybody want time and space.
Right.
And when I come home, the person I call is him. But as soon as he start talking about money and business, okay, that's time to go.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear about that no more. That's all you, if that's all you fixated
Yeah.
on, we business partners. I don't want to know about XYZ.
Mm.
I just want to have a nice, normal conversation like we used to have with my husband. So if not,
that's
then go
needed
ahead
too.
and go ahead and hang up because I'm done. I
That's
just listen to my
needed.
gospel on the way home.
That's needed too, I think, to be able to
Shut
get
down.
away. I remember my parents saying that they didn't take their first vacation together as a couple until, oh my gosh, maybe it had been like 10, 15 years in. And they said that they were really able to reconnect, and it let them know like this needs to be built in. Well,
without kids,
I'm a traveler.
just us two.
I love to go. I've always been that kind of a person.
You don't go.
Him, not so much.
Oh, you raggedy.
So listen,
I'm sorry.
You raggedy,
But I'm
Bauer.
with him. It's not that I don't, but like you said, when you think about money, I don't want to
that's
go
what
anywhere,
he's
and I'm
saying.
like, okay, we
That's him.
got to save this, and we doing like I want to be able to enjoy myself if I go on. It's a vacation.
So
You know what I mean?
our first
He said,
vacation, just he and I. That's it. Just he and I.
Yes.
Guess when?
When?
August.
August of what?
This year.
August 2025.
This year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We've been-
So where's the
isn't-
camera
isn't
at?
that like
Where's the camera at? So you know, our first. This is technically our honeymoon.
Right.
yes.
Okay.
Shut up.
It really is. This is technically
And
our
I'm telling
honeymoon.
you, watch.
Because every vacation
love it.
when we got married was the kids.
Yes.
Like our
Yes.
daughter right now is like, I'm not going. No,
Oh,
no.
she's sad. She was like,
Y'all
we're
not going.
We're
My
not.
son, y'all not going. Not to
Yeah.
this. You know what I'm
Just me and
saying?
mama.
Like it's just me. This is it. This is she and I. We're gonna enjoy ourselves. We're gonna go kick it. We go our grown and sexy on.
Look, once he experienced, because when I finally got James to do it, because I grew up traveling, so we
See,
traveled.
that was
And
me.
when the first time, or James been out of control, since the kids be like, Mom and Dad leaving us again.
Like,
We be gone.
Goodbye.
And our oldest be like, he be like, man, I got him again. I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
Because
We're
you
out
gotta
here.
build
Yeah.
that time in
Well, you
just
got
for
to recharge.
just
Gotta
for
recharge.
you.
Even if you
yeah.
don't got it. I mean, even if we don't got the money, we
I can
still
go on
gonna make
vacation
time.
and just not spend it and just relax. Honestly, that's all. That
Sleep.
and sleep. Enjoy. She's an ocean sea
love
type
it.
person.
I
Yeah,
love the
she
beach.
does.
I love
She loves the beach.
Right.
You know, and I appreciate that about her. You know what I mean?
But
So I'm
he
looking
wouldn't
forward to it.
allow us to do it.
I'll
Which
tell you-
it
I'll
was
tell you
just
this
kind
way,
of like
you gonna call me like, girl, we didn't book another one.
Oh
right.
yeah,
Right.
no,
Right.
no.
So when I was on social media, I was the one that was on there envious. He didn't care. So my thing is, when you don't find something
Not really.
important,
It's like, well,
I'm on there
pay this
like,
bill.
oh,
So when's your
my
when's your next vacation?
They going in August.
August.
God. One in August. Oh,
August
you saying
to,
when are we
Gonna do it
now,
again.
But
Yeah.
check this out. What's so crazy? I have probably went ahead and booked probably like 3 vacations
Okay.
before
Yeah.
this is going to be the first one. This is how stubborn that he has been
I
for
ain't
18.
stubborn. I always said stubborn. It's just they just you know. First of all, we had the kids, so like really.
So
how many
August will be
vacations
the
did we
first
get?
one.
Mhm.
This
Yeah.
August.
Now
Yeah.
we've had like
We've had
weekend
vacations.
We've
Yeah.
had weekend
No, that-
getaway.
Yeah,
But he talking about
we've gone to
Yeah.
Myrtle Beach. We've gone to
Okay,
Clearwater,
yeah.
Florida,
Yeah.
but as a family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
You know what I
just
mean?
y'all.
Her parents would go, or
Yeah.
whatever it may be,
Yeah,
Virginia
we go-
Beach,
we-
So
whatever.
y'all going this August?
We're going
correct?
this August, just she and I,
August.
for the
Okay.
first time. Just
Yeah.
Oh,
us.
you
Look, so
gonna
to
love
Wait,
it.
Mom.
be
Yes.
continued.
Well, that's way too
To-
wait,
Yes.
Mom. She gonna be.
That's why
You know
I'm
what I
going
started
hard.
doing? I just start booking it.
That's what she
I
does.
just start
She
booking.
don't even tell me. She just
Bang.
book it.
I already made
Yeah,
the
and I don't
payment.
say nothing.
Yeah. she don't even tell me. She'll just book it. Like
Yeah,
okay,
I don't even say nothing.
yeah.
Either you go, and what I tell you, either you gonna come with me,
No, I'm gonna go
or
regardless.
you not.
I'm gonna go
You
Yeah.
gonna
regardless.
leave all this finest wine
Yeah.
out there in the streets by yourself. That's on you. But I'm going.
Right.
And then I go in the grocery store
Now
and
let me
they be
ask
on
this:
Whatever.
As a married, do you guys do? Because she has, and I haven't. And I know if I tried it, she would have an attitude. But that
What?
Okay, what?
Well,
like a man's trip where you
Nah,
just
I
go
don't
on
do
your.
'em.
You don't do them.
I do girls trips. Yeah.
Okay.
He
She
does
has.
like
Oh,
James do.
true.
James don't.
No.
He,
Why not?
I tried to get
Huh?
him. I tried.
Oh, really? Okay.
I
I mean,
tried.
I don't see what I want to be by a man. I want to be by a woman.
Well,
See, and
okay.
that is the thing.
Yeah, I don't want to
Well,
be
I
by
have
no
a
man.
homeboy who does like a yearly or annual type of like they go to
Yeah, men that do
Canada
that.
and go fishing.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want to do that. I want to be by a woman.
Oh, okay.
I want to have a happy night ending.
Oh,
I don't want to be by
Like
no man.
that's
after
fair.
fishing,
Right.
he
Yeah.
would be, yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to
Okay.
be.
No, but I do.
She
I
You
do.
do.
can, yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
mind.
I got boys. My boys, they do their fella trips, but me, I don't.
You don't see it?
Nah, I want to
But
be.
that's but that's just always been him too. So you can't ask him. He don't even do like boy nights. Like it was hard to surprise him to do a bachelor party when we
Yeah.
renewed our vows for 15
But
years.
James is an introvert though. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So
He's a
kind of like me.
homebody.
Yeah, I'm home.
So
yeah,
you
same
can't.
like you.
chilling.
So I'm saying you can't ask his opinion.
Okay.
Yeah, you
but,
can.
Yeah.
But nah, because he gonna be
Because
like,
a lot of guys ain't doing no guys trips.
But it's a lot of guys that are.
Their marriage is in trouble too.
No, they
I-
not.
I bet you.
No, they ain't.
I'm
bet
gonna
you.
agree with you.
I
I'm gonna
bet
agree with
you.
you, James.
Yeah.
I really feel like there are certain things that women do
Yeah.
just from a cultural kind of, and there are things that men do.
Right. We hunt.
Women,
That's your goal is go out there and hunt, baby.
Men are hunters by nature.
But
I
you
mean,
taking.
I
No,
wouldn't
but
go. that wouldn't be my
You know what I'm
intention if I
saying?
went. I
No,
would
but I'm
wanna
just
go
saying
get-
that. I mean,
like
there
ball
would
with the
be some
fellas.
guy in that group that's gonna order up some strippers, something. It's gonna be
No,
some
that's
wayward
like- that's
guy.
like-
Yes,
that's
it
like
is.
even-
That's not
Every-
necessary.
That's like
no.
even
Every
now.
guy's
That's like
group
even
has
now. If I
that
had a guy's trip and I brought my sons, I'd be like, go holler at her. I'd be like, go holler at that girl. She's single. Go holler. I want to see what you gonna do. That's how I'm.
See,
I mean, yeah.
That's your thought.
Well, see, that's
I mean,
what would I wouldn't.
If I
have
got a
attitude.
single friend, I'm gonna be like, go holler at her.
I wouldn't have an attitude, but
Right.
I just feel like it's not the same. I think as
It's
what
different
they-
to me.
but see, the guys that I would go with on like
Yeah,
a man's
you gotta-
trip,
you gotta
they wouldn't.
trust.
They wouldn't condone. That's not something they would encourage me to do.
Mm-hmm.
Is to go out and step up. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it was-
yeah,
you
yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So it wouldn't. That wouldn't.
But
be
you're gonna have one in their group.
There's going to be one in the
Yeah,
group.
they're gonna be one in the group. We just keeping it real.
I
probably,
feel
yeah.
like speaking of this, I think
You don't
that
have
that's
no friends that would do that. Unless you
You're in a fairy tale weird world.
because as women, we don't have like we don't be like we go on our couple trip, we gonna be like we ain't out
Some
there
men gonna
hunting.
be mad at
No.
me, but
Right,
No,
you
we're
know,
not.
so we not gonna be like, and if you
No.
married and we do see something that's not,
we're not even saying married. I'm
respectful
saying
to your girl.
I'm
get over
saying
here, sit
even
down.
if you
Yeah.
single.
Right.
I'm saying if the brother's single, men by nature we hunt.
Single, if you single, go do you. Even
Yeah.
we on the trip,
Yeah.
go do you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
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 No,
That don't mean
they're
you
single.
got to do it because you take.
No, I'm not doing. No,
You know what I'm saying?
but
Yeah.
I think like when y'all do the girls trips, it's more healing. It's more
Too.
y'all guys getting together. I don't know. I mean,
revive
me,
us.
yeah. I mean, my boys like let's go on a trip. You know, like a fishing trip. But I'm like,
He the only one don't. He the only one that does not go.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, bro. I'm like, why I
Yeah.
want to go on a
He
trip
said,
with
"Why
you?
are we going?"
Well, I'm not.
I'm
me
laying
personally,
in
I'm
the
not
bed.
opposed to
But
it.
like
And I'm
you
laying in the
said
bed.
though, he's an introvert.
Right.
Yeah,
If
but
that's
I'm
just his
still-
personality. then
Yeah,
it's
and
just-
then I'm gonna lay in
then
the
I get it.
bed with my roommates, my buddies. Nah, nah, I'm sorry.
Stupid.
I want my woman.
You're crazy.
I want my woman. You can lay.
That is.
But you know what? Too.
I encourage him to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
But I
do.
have no
That's
desire.
something
do.
I
I
would
would
look forward to.
not have a problem.
She says that.
But I
she
think
would.
speaking of
She,
friends,
she definitely would.
She
I probably would.
She
She
would.
like-
He's probably
Where
right.
you
I
at?
probably would.
What
She
you doing?
would. Don't let her fool.
I
Don't
probably
America, where you at? Don't let her fool. She
Yeah.
would.
She'll be looking on that Life
Don't let her fool
360
you.
app.
Sounds good
She'll be
now.
watching
Probably.
you.
Right.
Like, oh, where he at this
Right.
time?
No, don't let her
Right.
fool you. No.
He's probably right. I
But
would have
to that
attitude.
point, when we was talking about even when we were separated, I think part of
Now you separate, you ain't going on men's trip.
no,
Right.
well, listen,
No.
listen.
You don't get no pass to go nowhere, sir.
Well,
I'm just joking.
that's
I'm just
just
joking.
right. But even when during the times that, and I guess she could speak to this on her own. But when the times we were separated, I had some really good people in my ear that really was just like, dude, you know what I'm saying? Don't, and this is my advice, you know, don't give up on your marriage without really putting your best foot forward to salvage it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me personally, that was probably the best advice I received when we were separated.
We had awesome people in our corner.
We did, yeah.
And
rooting for us,
it's funny
supporting
you
us, yeah.
transition to that because that's where I was going. Because speaking of friends, I think who you have around
Say
your
that
marriage,
Yes.
it becomes critical. It really becomes crucial. And I do see sometimes people's marriages that are struggling, and it's like, who's
you
in your
listen to,
corner?
right.
Like,
Who's
who
in-
is over there? And if you have the wrong people in your corner, especially when when we were going through those hard times and we were both vulnerable, and being separated is a gamble to your
Mhm.
marriage because you can't control what this other person is doing or how they're feeling in those moments, and you're not there to comfort each other in a sense, in that sense. But and you've created this wedge, this gap that's there, and you don't know who might want to come and fill it, especially if you know, listen, my spouse is an awesome person, you know. And that's why I was with them, because they are, but that somebody else might not want this awesome person.
Who
So
told you? You remember who told you? She told
What?
me. Old girl's mom told you. Can you see? I'm sorry. What? Oh, my hand.
Oh yeah. It was an older lady. And when we were separated, she did ask me, she said, well, could you see, him being with someone else? And I know we were separated. And so you think that it runs across your mind, but it doesn't in that sense, because I was angry. I was upset. I was dealing with my own issues. The last thing I'm thinking about is, oh, he gonna run off into the sunset with someone else. I just wasn't even thinking about that.
She put that.
But when she put that in my lap, I was like, wait a second. No, my man cannot go off. Especially, I felt like I've poured into him and that I was like, now, wait a second. So that did give me a lot to think about. Like, what do I want?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if it was, can we get it back? I feel like that the way that Emmanuel and I, maybe it's the way we were friends and would run into each other and immediately click. And I don't know if every marriage could do that, but when
worked
me
for
and
you guys.
Emmanuel, we would come back together. Now, mind you, when we were separated, we probably spoke more than we did even living in the house with each other, because you can get so busy where you are like those
Life, yeah.
ships crossing in the night. It was very intentional. It's like we're not in the house with each other, so it was like he was calling me, how are the kids doing? He was still picking the kids up. He was still doing all of the things. We just
In
weren't.
two different locations.
Yeah, we were in two different locations, but it let me see too his level of commitment to our family, without him there reaping all of the benefits.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so there were some positive things that did come out of that situation. I just feel like you have to be committed to one another. You have to have good people in your corner. Some people why keep these people in your corner that aren't really able to move with you into your life for real? We've had a lot of friends we didn't kick them out. I mean, they just dropped off.
I mean, eventually, I loved what you said. We're gonna be ended up soon, but one of the things that you guys both kept saying, what kept us together, even in those seasons of darkness, is your circle. And like for me, I have circle of friends that are gonna tell me the truth, even if I don't want to hear it.
Even about
And
yourself.
yes.
Yeah.
And who are champion just as much as a champion for our marriage
Yes.
that we are. And that is so important because you need those champions that want to see you guys succeed and not those people in your circle that do not. Any friend that tells you to leave your man, you might as well go home. Because there's certain things that you should. Like, I'm not going to never, ever say that you should not. But most of the stuff that people are getting divorced for are not things that cannot be, you know, reconnected and reunified if you have right people in your corner to say, hey. I love that word commitment. And like the times where I wanted to say, I'm gone. I'm about to leave me some James, right? I don't care what the world say. We ain't relationship goals, whatever, right?
I will have full custody of the kids.
And my baby is Patty, right?
I'll have full custody. I'm serious. I'll go right in court.
Whatever, baby.
Don't try to play me.
Whatever, baby.
I'm going right in court. I'm getting full custody of the kids, and I'm chilling.
However, to have
spousal
people
support
in our lives to say, you better stay. It ain't always greener on the outside.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And what we built is something special. Girl, sit your behind down.
Yes.
And be with your man.
And stay the course.
And stay the course because
it's a long game.
Yes,
marriage is a long game.
Because then you turn around 5 months later, you be like, girl, what was you mad about?
I don't even.
That's my boo, right? Like you don't even remember. So then it was like pointless, right? So I appreciate you guys. I'm sorry.
All right, so what we're going to do is, because the audience, they have some quick questions. We're going to do rapid fire. Rapid fire. Okay, so you only get 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Who's first?
Go ahead, Emmanuel.
I'm gonna just give you a question. All right, so they said, how has social media affected your relationship for better or worse?
It hasn't. Social media to me is it's not real. So it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's just a platform but it doesn't influence me. It doesn't, you know what I mean? I post stuff on social media as far as, you know, because I'm a champion of Black love. So anything that represents that, you know, whether it's myself or friends of ours, I'm putting it out there. But I'm too old to really care about what somebody on social media has to say or think. So I'll say this: somebody else's success has never been my failure.
Amen.
You know what I mean? So that doesn't motivate me. If somebody's in Belize and they're doing their thing, I'm all for it. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? So that's me.
Okay.
I'll be envious.
Your question. How do you navigate intimacy when one of you isn't in the mood or feeling connected? You want me to repeat it again? Yeah, I know. You know, I target the women on this one.
How do
you navigate the intimacy when one of you isn't in the mood or feeling not connected?
You know what? That one has been really hard. You said 30 seconds. Oh my goodness. A man would say, just jump on it. Just come on. And I'm like,
it ain't.
I'm like, that's like, what? I mean, after all these years, I'm like, that's what you got to.
But
that's been
because we think about it all today. I see you. I'm like, oh yeah.
But you know what? The funny thing, I don't mean to cut off. But our cycle is kind of it's kind of synced up now because we'd be like, all right, you want to do something nice? You're like, man, I'm tired. I'm like, okay, I'm tired too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of, but so that's. You know,
but you do have, but I do say this. You do have to know your ebb and flow with your partner. Mm-hmm. You do. Yeah. You have to know, and you have to know when it's necessary and
to refill.
Yeah,
I'm like, babies. I got y'all. I know why Daddy cranky.
Yeah, you're not talking about that live.
That ain't your question.
Yeah,
I'll take care of this.
You do.
I got this.
And then you have to be willing to bend in that and to be flexible. I mean, because it should never feel like a duty, but I think the more and more, and to talk about it. Mm-hmm. Don't just leave it to, we're just not going to talk about it. He knows I'll bring it up like, listen, like, what are we doing? You know? Mm-hmm. I mean, and I think we learned that through being separated, that you have to be intentional. We do it called checking the pulse now. No, I'm going to check with you. Are you good? How was your day? Or is everything good with you? And it's not like I'm expecting something to be wrong, but it's just opening up that door to talk to me. You know, some couples really honestly don't check on each other. Check on each other.
It's more than just about the sexual act.
You can't even get to the sexual act because you have all this other stuff.
But some people still do, and then they still...
Yeah. And then, what's the other question?
All right. From our lovely bride. How do you keep the spark alive?
How do I keep the spark? I go, shoot. If we go on dates, all our dates have been initiated by me. Trips by me. So I've been told him he got to step up his game in 2025. I need you to be picking some dates and some things that we can do together collectively. He does a great job with the text messages and love letters, things like that. But the intimacy piece, if you want to get me where I'm not worried about nothing else, you better take me on a date. You better take me out the country. You better take me somewhere with
just your date right now.
It is, baby. Yeah,
this your date right now.
It is.
I think that point right there for women, and I keep telling him this: when I'm here, I'm here.
I'm here.
Like I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter.
All things
of ailing parents. I get pulled. I can't. It's hard for. He'll be like, Nika, why don't you just say no? Why don't you? I can't. So I do have to be pulled away in order so he and I can have FaceTime and I can just focus on him. He can just focus on me.
Now you might get some better the happy
quality.
Look,
the better quality
that you want, that you desire.
What about as far as
what's your question? Rapid fire, boom boom to everybody else.
Hold on. But I had a question from somebody in the audience one time, and he was asking with his wife. He was like, he wants the role play. He wants the fantasy part,
right?
And he was like, his wife. He's like, I come to the home, you got the bonnet on your head. You know, he wants the role play, in the marriage to keep it fresh.
First of all, you're not messing up my hair.
Oh, you stupid.
You're not messing up my you know how
But I'm just saying like the role play, lingerie, things like that,
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sometimes it's a lot.
So listen,
take me on a trip and you get that.
Now see, Emmanuel is silly. He's the person that he could pull me in. But he would probably have to be the person to initiate. Emmanuel's a lot more silly. He and my kids they're the hams. They're the actors. And it's not me. Emmanuel, he will get on stage. He will perform. I have him doing karaoke in front of all of our friends and stuff. But he can pull me in. I get more shy when it comes up. I'm like, okay, what are we doing? I just feel goofy and silly like right now. And are we being serious? So I feel like it would be fun for he and I. I would be open to it, but he would probably have to initiate something like that. The bonnet thing, listen, I can't.
You married a black woman.
I would have to take the bonnet off. I can't get into my zone with a bonnet on. It does something. It just completely
I think he's
everything.
Saying that when he comes home or something. I'm assuming
he should tell her, like, babe, can you take the...
Or when it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, I think when they said it was... Yeah, I don't...
Like,
I'm
if it's sexy time.
Because if I had to look at the bonnet...
It's like kryptonite.
It would probably kill me. I'll be like, let me slide this.
I'm just saying, he already know. Shit, with my hair like this, you gonna get that bonnet. You gonna get that bonnet. You can't mess up my hair.
It's sleep in the bonnet. It's gonna come right back on.
It's gonna go right back. Exactly.
All right. So, anybody, what advice would you give to a newlywed couple? Or give to your newlywed selves? What advice would you give to your newlywed selves?
Marriage isn't 50-50. It's 100-100. It is. Like if you that 50, math? That's math. It's 100.
It's math in marriage.
It's math. Yeah, it's not 50. It's 100. 100. You have to, in order to make it work, and like we talking about the commitment.
Yeah.
You got to go all in. It's like poker. You put it all in. You put it out there. You can't be ashamed. You can't be embarrassed because your spouse. There's gonna be some times your spouse be like for real, like, oh, for real, this is what we on. But yeah, it's work. Okay. It is work, but like I said, you have to be intentional.
Well, I think the newlywed self too is looking back. Before you point at your spouse, point something out about them and their shortcomings or what they're not doing. Think to yourself first. Like, what is it that I could be doing that maybe I'm not? Because it's so easy, especially when you newly together. You're like, he ain't do this, he ain't picked that up off the foot. And I mean, you could just do a whole laundry list off of what your spouse didn't do or you didn't like sometimes, but if you really pull back and you say, well, listen, what are some things that I could be adding to this?
Yeah.
To make things better. I think that it puts things in a better perspective.
That's that reflection.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, I thought Me and the Man was going to be rocking and rolling day one. Like where we are now, I literally, because I had that much love and respect for him that I thought, we got this. So
but it's even better though now.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's better.
Yeah. I would say for my newlywed self, I would say always keep God first and continue to pray over, shut up and pray.
Yeah.
And then continue to emphasize you praying together, because no matter what season that you in, if you keep God first in everything is going to be okay. And that create wonderful memories. My baby would never dance. Now my baby is on there. He doing TikToks with me, right? And sometimes you have to do things and be selfless for your spouse to continue to not just survive but thrive in a marriage, to live. Like, we big on legacy. I'm really determined on leaving a wonderful legacy for my future grandkids and great-grandkids that is healthy and communicating more efficiently in a manner where both parties are hearing each other and meeting each other's needs and being, I want him to be my piece and I want him to be my, how'd I say it right? I want to be his piece and he'll be mine.
Correct.
And that when we come home, our house is peaceful.
Peaceful.
No, so that's what I would say to me. What about you? You asked all the questions.
I got all the questions.
No, you answer the question.
Come on.
Newlywed self, James.
Have fun, live life.
I cannot stand
live life. I'm enjoying myself. I mean, like I said, you have to enjoy your life.
Have fun, live life.
No, I mean, I'm enjoying my life. I'm enjoying the marriage. I'm having a blast. All right, so this is another one. How do you protect your marriage while being parents?
Ooh,
because these are, I mean, we're dealing with our couples that are married now and they're struggling and they have children.
So that one is a tough piece. I think it took a long time for us to get to the point where we said we have to put us first.
That's right.
And I've heard some debate online and other couples where that isn't always aligned. Like there's a misalignment between the couples there. And a lot of times the women are like, well, I got to look after the kids.
We do. Yes, however.
We do. But there was a time where I would say probably a male came maybe about, what you think, 4th on the list?
Look his
10th.
I know. That's what I feel like.
And it was. And it was. And when he said it, when he first called me out on it, Oh, I was very angry. I was like,
Mhm.
what? Like, how dare you? You know, I got these kids and I'm doing these kids. And what I had to realize is he was my partner. He was here with me. We're both going to do the kids.
Yeah.
And he has shown up every day and showed me I got the kids too. We're doing the kids. And that he had me. So then it's like, well, if we both doing the kids, then we're number one.
Yeah.
Outside of God.
Yeah.
It's he and I. And it took a long time for me to make that true adjustment in the practice of our actual marriage. And for those people out there who are putting their kids first, you're in misalignment.
And you will see it later on in your marriage.
And you know what? And I find that when women do that, then they're also not leaving room for their husbands to put the kids in order also. So a lot of women are like, well, I'm doing everything and he's not doing anything for the kids. But it's like, you're not making room. You're not making room for him to really be engaged, really be there, telling him where you need him to fit in and inviting him in to help him with the kids. A lot of times as women, we just start
and allow them to do it their way and not our way. And that
thank you.
And
thank you.
And that is you losing that. Like James was like, Amber, you gotta lose the control. There's certain things I'm not gonna lose control over.
Especially
like
with a son.
Packing clothes and stuff. I'm going to do that
it's
because
sickness.
I like us to be in alignment. When you go out and see us, we all gonna be dressed alike. But it's certain things.
I'm like, the boys can pack their own stuff.
Like, no.
And she be like, I'm gonna pack this stuff. And she be wore out. I'll be like,
because they may forget stuff. And it always, every time I give them the opportunity, they forget stuff. And then it falls back on.
Well, let them learn. We go to Walmart and buy some t-shirts.
And then I got to spend more money. Not where you should have packed it, right?
But how many times as women, as women, as mothers, though, have we found ourselves being overwhelmed simply because we took it on because we wanted it done our way.
Our control.
Instead of being like, okay, babe, you do it. I know it's not going to be my way, but I need the respite. I need to like care for myself and to fill myself up. And guess what? Every time I passed Emmanuel the ball, he picked it up. He was gone with it. Did it look like the way I did it? No, but guess what? Those kids are good. They're good.
They're alive.
They're alive.
He says better.
It was better.
It's somewhat. Listen, he is the one that they wanted to go to, and that started to tick me off too, because I was like, I was doing all of this and controlling it, but when it came time for our kids to like choose, like. The happy parent that was the fun parent.
It was daddy.
I was like, I'm done. I'm killing myself over here.
But nothing.
This guy right here.
They did. So the kids love him. They were like, Uncle Daniel, Daddy, I'm like,
he the cool one, and I'm over here stressed. But
that's because I was stressed. I would be mean mugging everybody.
So like. Practice sharing the duties of the household.
Yes.
I don't always have to be, if you cook, I wash the dishes, or I clean up the kitchen, or washing clothes. James love to wash, I put up.
Yeah.
Ironing clothes, all those different things. We in the season, Amber is not cooking.
So who's cooking tonight?
Yeah.
James. We in the season, I ain't cooking.
There we go.
Listen,
I married him because he can cook.
My baby
That's
can
why.
cook.
Yeah, man can cook.
James can cook.
I want you.
I mean,
cooking.
that was one of the reasons that I married him.
Okay, thank you.
Father's Day is coming up. He know I'm gonna cook for Father's Day. I always do Father's Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna hook me up.
But not tonight.
Yeah.
Listen, when Soda go downstairs, that's where we going.
So
Right
thank you
downstairs.
once again for coming on the show.
Appreciate you.
We'll have y'all back again.
Yes, appreciate
We'll
you.
have more rapid fire because we didn't get through the audience questions.
Yeah.
But we appreciate y'all.
We want Black love to live and to
Absolutely.
thrive and to
It's must. It's a necessity.
some of these divorces that are happening.
Right. And we
No,
got to
they don't
speak
have
up
to.
and nurture the relationships that are in trouble.
Yeah.
And we want to create that space
We just
where
can't be
people
silent.
are, couples are brave enough to say, hey, I need help.
Mm-hmm.
Be brave.
Because we all do.
Be brave.
So if you can't find somebody, hopefully you can find somebody in your circle that you can be vulnerable with. That is the key. I know Priscilla Shire talked about with her and her husband. They have a couple that's older than them that they both can be vulnerable with the most. Anytime anything happens in their marriage, that couple holds them accountable. And I love that. And it's that wisdom.
Yeah.
Right.
And they can check them when they both are wrong.
Right.
So having that, we want to just continue to create those spaces where people can say, hey, I can make it through this storm or this season. Because it is light at the end of the tunnel. And marriage is a great thing. I enjoy being married to my baby. I wanted to divorce him a couple times, but I enjoyed. I enjoyed 99% of it. 99.
That 1%,
that
I got full custody. I got full custody of the kids. You trying to play me? I got full custody of the kids.
My bad.
And spousal support. And your car. I'm gonna have a Benz. With some Delta plates on.
He said
rolling.
He said you
he's so petty.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Petty boy.
Hilarious. That's funny. No divorces.